Hey guys, welcome back. Now, smartphones nowadays are equipped with excellent cameras and they're capable of shooting some really high quality videos and photos. And with the right companion, those capabilities can be dialed up on a serious level. And that is where the Zhiyun Smooth 4 comes into the picture. With some stunning features like long exposure, object tracking, and Vertigo, this thing will completely change the way you shoot, whether you're an amateur vlogger, YouTube creator, or a professional. If gadget reviews, DIY projects, and life hacks are your thing, then consider subscribing to my booth and turn on the bell notification so you don't miss out on any of the action. Let's do a quick unboxing and I'll jump straight into all the amazing features it has to offer. So here is the box. Inside we have this really cool classy looking box which kind of feels like styrofoam but doesn't crumble like one. Look at that. Looks like a full-on shooting weapon, pun intended. So this is a USB-C cable for charging the gimbal, and then there is a small wide-based tripod that Zhiyun sends along, pretty neat. And then we have the gimbal. It seems a little bulky in size, but the good part is the handle gives a very firm grip, and for its size, it seems quite lightweight, but doesn't seem to compromise on the quality in any way. You can straight away notice this whole control panel full of buttons over here alongside this wheel, and it can be a little overwhelming at first, but stay tuned as I walk you through each and every feature. For added convenience, I have added the table of contents in the description box below in case you're here to watch a specific feature. To start, I'm going to screw the tripod into the gimbal and set it on my table, which will make my job a million times easier. And now I'm going to mount my phone. It can support almost every phone out there, and the holder is also universal, so you don't have to worry about it not fitting your phone. Once it is in the holder successfully, you can check to see if it is balanced horizontally. If it is falling to one side, you can simply loosen the screw back here and pull out the arm slightly until it is balanced. And now we turn it on by pressing the power button and it will spring into action. Now, when gimbals initially came into the picture, their whole point was to stabilize the phone and smoothen out any shakes or movements in the video, and you would be using your default camera of the phone, which the Zhiyun Smooth 4 is more than capable of doing. But with the ZY Play app from Zhiyun, you can control all the advanced options of the camera right here from this control panel without having to touch your phone screen. So the first thing would be to connect the gimbal to the phone, which we can simply do by entering the ZY Play app, and with the phone's Bluetooth turned on, tap on connect device and it will bring up a list of available devices. It will automatically detect the one which is in range, which of course in this case is the Zhiyun Smooth 4, and tap on it and it will connect and launch the camera. On the screen you can see a couple of icons. It shows the battery status of the phone and the gimbal separately on the top right corner. On the top left corner, we have the home button, which will take us out of the camera. Next to that, we have the Bluetooth connection icon, which is turned blue now that we are connected. Then the picture video mode, flash, timer mode, and HDR mode. On the bottom left corner, we have this icon, which will take us to the media library of the app. And next to that, we have object tracking, which is turned off at the moment, but I'll come to it when I get into the advanced features section. In the bottom center, we have all the camera numbers being displayed like exposure, ISO, white balance, shutter speed, etc. And finally, in the bottom right corner, we have filters. Now, one thing you need to know is that you can't really control any of the features by clicking on the phone screen once it is connected, other than file library, home, and tracking button. But that shouldn't be a problem since everything can be controlled from right here. So the first button is the menu button, which brings up the main menu containing all the modes, settings, and different features. I'll come to them in a second. To select any feature, you can press the center button with the flash icon, and to go back one step from wherever you are in the app, you can press the menu button. Next is the display button, which toggles the display of the camera numbers on the screen on and off. The wheel is multifunction. It can be used to navigate in between options by rotating it clockwise or anti-clockwise, and it also has four buttons on each side for different settings. The top button brings up different resolutions and frame rates for video recording, and of course it can only support the native camera resolutions of the phone. And you can use the wheel to scroll through them and press the flash button to select one. The flash button works as enter, and if you press it for 2 seconds, it will turn on the phone's flash on continuously. The right button makes it enter exposure compensation mode, where you can use the wheel to increase or decrease the exposure manually. The left button toggles between front and back camera, and the down button brings up the photos and videos you've taken in the app. The big wheel on the left side can be used to zoom in and out of the scene, And if you press the target button, the wheel can be used now to change focus of the scene. To take a photo, you can press the camera button, and to record videos, the red dot button. Below this, we have the switch between the pan follow and lock mode. In the pan follow mode, the phone will pan sideways when you turn the gimbal, but not up and down. It's good for times when you want to follow an object that is moving around you, but you don't want to point the phone up or down. In the lock mode, the phone will stay focused in one position and not move no matter where you turn the gimbal handle. This is perfect if you want to keep the phone pointing in one direction and if the shot requires you panning the phone up or down or sideways, but not tilting the phone. On the back, we have another toggle switch. When you press the down section, it enters the full follow mode. That means whichever direction you turn the gimbal, the phone will pan in that direction, including tilting the phone up or down. This is great for recording with front camera where you want to keep the camera pointing towards you even if you raise or lower the gimbal. The upper part of the switch activates the phone go mode. Basically, the motors will stiffen up and now the phone will swiftly move in any direction you point the gimbal. This is great for those times when you want to move the phone between two objects quickly or if you want to create a neat transition in your video like this. For example, right now I'm indoors and now I'm outside. Of course, you'll have to do the editing with an application, but it's pretty cool nevertheless. In lock mode, if you want to point the phone in a specific direction, you can either move it manually to the desired position or hold the up or down button behind, turn the phone to your desired position, and then release the button, and the phone will stay pointed in that direction. This is a neat feature that makes up for the absence of a joystick. Last but not least, below the power button, we have this neat long LED which indicates the battery status of the gimbal. And let me tell you, it will outlast your phone battery when operating for long times. It can last up to 12 hours. Now moving to the advanced features. So you press the menu button and the first thing you have is the camera. Press enter and you will see all the different shooting modes. It has some really cool features, but I'll browse through all the other functions really quickly and come back to the camera section in a moment to have a detailed look. First, we have flash. From here, you can just toggle the phone flash on or off. Timer allows you to set a 2, 5, or 10 seconds delay before it takes a picture. HDR is to toggle high dynamic range on or off. White balance lets you control the scene and set it to sunny, cloudy, fluorescent, or incandescent. From resolution, you can select the different video resolutions and frame rates your video can support for video recording. From manual, you can basically control the camera settings manually, including shutter speed, exposure, white balance, and ISO. In scene, you can select a walking or motion. If you're going to be recording a video while walking slowly, then select walking. If you're going to be moving fast or running, then select motion, and the smooth 4 will adjust the motor sensitivity and responsiveness accordingly. Here is a video while walking. And here is one while running. I really can't tell if switching between motion and walking is making a difference, but the videos are very stable in general. Filters, as the name suggests, you can apply different filters to your scene. Under settings, you can change basic settings like beauty cam, zoom sensitivity, image stabilization, grid lines, etc. And the general tab has all the basic information of the device like the name, firmware version, etc. Now coming back to the camera settings. The first one is 180 degrees panorama. Select it, press the menu button to go out, and now you can see whichever shooting mode is selected, it will show next to the Bluetooth icon on the top left corner. Now simply press the photo button and the camera gimbal will automatically move the camera to the starting position and then move it 180 degrees, taking multiple shots and then stitch them to make one panoramic picture. This is great for landscapes. Here are some examples. Next is 3 by 3 pano. When you press the photo button, the gimbal will take 9 pictures in total, 3 facing down, 3 facing straight, and 3 facing up, and then stitch them all together to make one big picture, like this. And let me give you a small tip. All these features, especially the ones related to photos and not videos, they only work best if it is set on a tripod and not handheld. Next is multiple exposure. This is for achieving that blurred effect of moving objects. When you turn this on, you press the photo button once and then you'll notice everything leaving a blur in the scene. What you have to do is press the photo button again once and it will snap a shot. Here are a few examples. Next is long exposure. This is suitable for dark scenes. Press the photo button once and you can see any moving light will leave a continuous trail. So you leave it for as much time as you want and then press the photo button again. It's great for photographing roads at night where you will get these continuous trails of car lights, or if you have the patience, you can try pointing it towards the sky and getting a long exposure shot of the stars and the moon. However, the picture quality drops in the long exposure and multiple exposure if you compare it with what your default camera can do in dark. The light trails are sharp, but the remaining part of the pictures become a little blurry. Next is slow motion. Now this works only if you have slow motion recording built into your phone. When you turn it on, you have to press the photo button to start slow-mo recording and not the video button. Here is an example. Next up, time lapse. Pretty much the standard time lapse as your phone would have, but here you can control it a little more. Once you press enter, it will take you to the next window where you can set the time interval a photo is taken. I'm going to select 3 seconds and then the duration of how long it will record. I'll go for 10 minutes for now. And below you can see it will show how long the final clip will be, and you can go back and adjust according to that. I'm going to turn on this feature where it says preview off for low power because it can really drain your phone battery quickly since the phone is recording and connected via Bluetooth the whole time. And finally press start. Once done, it will compile a video and save it to the media. Here is an example. Next up is motion time lapse. Now this is a really neat feature. In this, the gimbal will move the phone slowly from one point to the other while recording a time lapse video. So what you do is move the phone manually to the starting position and press the enter button once. Then move it to the ending position and press enter again. Below that we have some more options which I'll leave as it is for now, except for autofocus lock which I'll turn on so it doesn't go in and out of focus during the recording. Press next and on the next screen you can once again select the time interval between frames and total duration of recording and press start. You have to keep the gimbal in lock mode for this. Just to let you know, this mode is not only limited to 2 waypoints, you can select multiple points and it will move through all of them in the selected course of time, including zooming in and out. Here are a few examples. The final mode we have is Vertigo. Now this is one of the coolest effects you might have seen in videos and always wondered how they did it. Well, at least I did that. You can actually do it manually with a phone by either moving towards an object and zooming out or moving away from it and zooming in at the same time. In the ZY Play app, you can set the parameters and the app will do the rest for you. So you enter the Vertigo mode and then select a starting point. I'm going to zoom in all the way towards my object and take a picture. And next I'm going to go full out and press enter to select my second waypoint, which is full wide. Now you have to note it is not actually taking pictures at this point, it is only selecting the zooming waypoints. Then I'll select how long I want it to go from full zoom to full wide. Let's go 10 seconds and press start. Now you have to physically move towards your object. You have to move towards your object and trying to keep the object you're focusing on centered. And this is how the finished video looks. Really cool and my favorite function so far. Coming to object tracking, you can press this little icon down here and then drag your finger across the screen to select the object you want to track. It will highlight it. Now you can start recording and the phone will move wherever the object moves. This is a great feature for vloggers. You can just lock it on your face and then you can freely move the gimbal around, not having to worry about the camera not pointing at you. However, this feature does have a few bugs and doesn't work as well as I expected. Sometimes it can start acting as if it has a mind of its own and move all around the place. You can access all the files by clicking on the library icon, and from here you can either store them into the phone's gallery or delete them. There's also a built-in video editor in the Zhiyun app from where you can combine multiple clips, add audio, filters, etc. and save it to your phone. Well, that is pretty much all this gimbal has to offer, and let me tell you, this is the longest I've had to talk about a gadget. Just a few things worth mentioning. One, you can tilt the phone this way, and the gimbal will go into standby mode. It will still be connected and turned on, but the motors will be relaxed, hence extending the battery life. And you can simply turn the phone sideways to turn it on again. This saves time as well since you don't have to connect again and again to the phone. Another neat feature is that you can also place your phone in vertically by simply loosening the screw behind the phone holder, twisting the holder, and then tightening it again. And by the way, at any time you can press the lower button on the back twice to reset the gimbal's position. There's a micro USB port here which I think might be for charging the phone that is mounted on it. At least this is how it was on the Vertigo gimbal which I reviewed earlier. However, it doesn't come with any cables. I tried plugging in the cable from my previous gimbal, but it seems to do nothing even though it is powered on. So I really don't know what this is for. To conclude, for $140, this thing is loaded with super awesome features. I did have some bugs along the way. Once or twice, the buttons would become non responsive on the gimbal, even though the phone was connected. I had to exit and relaunch the app to connect. And once it stopped automatically during a motion time lapse video. I think the app needs some adjustments to be made, and hopefully Zhiyun will take care of it soon. Other than that, the build quality is good, the app is comprehensive, battery life is fantastic. It is a tool equally helpful for amateurs and professionals alike. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. I'll leave a link in the description box below in case you want to check it out. Thanks a lot to Zhiyun Tech for sending me this gimbal. I'm sure I'll be using it a lot in my future videos. That's it for now, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button below. Click here to subscribe to my booth for more gadget reviews, life hacks, and facts. If you want to watch another super awesome gimbal review, click here or click here to see what the internet wants you to watch. And as always, thanks for watching.